Okay. Well, a new set of articles popped up here.
You talking to me?
No, not streaming. New set of articles popped up, and Bounding in Comics. Let's just share the screen. All right. And so you can read along. There's that. If you heard this earlier today, Bounding into Comics reports that this new report claims Prime Video abandoned the Conan the Barbarian TV series because of toxic masculinity. An article by John F. Trent on today, September 20th, 2022. A new report claims that Prime Video abandoned the Conan Barbarian TV series due to toxic masculinity. Shit like this makes me fucking happy, by the way. I don't care if they're butthurt about the toxic masculinity, but look at that cover art. Look at that. Look at that. This is fucking Conan. This is badass. Okay. Hi, grim to say. How you doing, sir? So, Conan the Barbarian TV series is announced by Deadline back in 2018. The initial announcement, it was revealed that the current House of the Dragon showrunner, Ryan Condal, was behind the series. He was also joined by House of the Dragon showrunner and Game of Thrones director Miguel Sapochnik. They detailed the series would retell Conan's origins as he is driven out of his tribal homelands and wanders a mysterious and treacherous world of civilization where he searches for a purpose in a place that rejects him as a mindless savage. I can see why Amazon would already just distance himself off of that. They would say, "Oh hell no, we're not going to have no savage talk. Can't do that. Can't have that in our new series." Just so I'm not flipping back and forth, let me just put up my phone here so I can see chat real quick. And I know should have been better prepared for this, but I saw this and I thought, no, I want to talk about it. Prepared for this, but yeah, Grim, I believe you. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I know things aren't always easy, but I'm really hoping that your health continues to improve. Follow me's meeting. Hello. Okay. The report also specifically noted that this Conan the Barbarian series would be part of Jeff Bezos and Prime Video's answer to Game of Thrones, with Deadline's Nelly Androva writing. The project falls into Amazon's big push into fantasy genre drama series with broad appeal in the mold of Game of Thrones. But the Wheel of Time that was done, you guys remember that? Hey, Parrothead, how you doing? Look at this, the Man-Eaters of Zambula. This is an amazing, amazing piece of cover art. This right here, this is what you want to have you want to pass this down to your kids. If you don't have a boy, a nephew, unless your daughter's into this stuff, which is you parented right. And they're working on a new Solomon Kane TV series over at Funcom. Kind of, yeah, but we'll detail that in a second. Conan Barbarian series never came into fruition at Amazon. In 2020, producer Frederick Malmberg moved the project to Netflix, where he's working on both a live action and animated adaptation of the character. A little over a year ago, Malmberg indicated they'd moved forward in production of the live action series and have begun writing the series. He explained, "With Conan, I'm happy to say we are writing. We are in development, which means we are basically working with a writer who has written the first draft of the pilot of the series and then a season overview. So we are working together with the Netflix team. Obviously, with COVID, it's been a little tricky because everybody's working from home, and it's all Zoom conferences and very difficult to get everybody aligned. So things are progressing, but as always, you want them to progress faster than they do. That's the world we live in. Things are going well, kind of. Look at that. That right there. I mean, this is why so many young men, Generation X, wanted to read about Conan. This is just the shit right here. That is just so cool. Parrothead says work is slow and management's not here. Yeah, that's exactly what that means. We don't have a full functioning plan. So why the series was moved from Amazon to Netflix was never really explained, but a new report from YouTube channel Midnight's Edge, and you guys should probably subscribe to Midnight's Edge at some point. Andre's good. They claim it was cut from Amazon due to toxic masculinity. Just think about that for a second. First, Midnight's Edge founder Andre Anahar explains that Amazon didn't just want a Game of Thrones competitor, they wanted to dominate the entire fantasy TV market. I remember back in the 80s, like 1983, CBS, I'm going to go off on a tangent here. CBS had this little show called Wizards and Warriors, and they had 8 episodes set up. And it wasn't a bad TV show. You had the girl that played, I believe, Stephanie or Julie from the not Bob Newhart, but the Newhart show where he was in Vermont. It's an inn owner. And Peter Sellers, or the little guy from Bosom Buddies, not Tom Hanks, the little guy, was her husband. And they had that girl as a princess for Wizards and Warriors. And Wizards and Warriors was kind of cool. You could see some starts of good fantasy writing with it. But in 1983, CBS was not focused on it. And they had this thing on the worst time slot available. And the worst part was that it was guaranteed to fail because not only was it in a bad night, a bad time slot going against stiff competition, but in 83 you had airliner explode. You had the Lebanese problems over in Beirut. So you had constantly had Dan Rather popping up with another special report. I'm Dan Rather, and I'm going to give you our version of the news. So if you don't have everything focused, you don't really have money committed to the project. Amazon wasn't committed to these projects because they were the wrong type of project that Amazon wanted to get involved with. Everything about Wheel of Time should have succeeded because the actual books would make good Amazon fodder. You have strong female characters, you have outlandish events, you have great scenery, you have good prose, but they thoroughly dropped it. Okay, so anyway, they wanted to dominate the entire fantasy TV market. Bezos, hi Calvinoni, how you doing? Bezos says he wants something which would enable Amazon to dominate the fantasy market the same way Game of Thrones had done for HBO. To make that dominance complete, though, they were not looking for just one Game of Thrones, but 2. One for the family market, one for the more adult market. One that would quite literally capture the exact same market that was engrossed in Game of Thrones. Interesting. After detailing that The Lord of the Rings was their path to dominating the family fantasy market, Ironheart details that the Conan the Barbarian was our initial property to capture a more adult market. Hey, Soy-Based Jeremy. He explained that Amazon wanted The Lord of the Rings to capture the family market, but B, not only that, but their Game of Thrones to take over the Game of Thrones market. And they had something else in mind, mainly Conan the Barbarian. It was a perfect property to fill the same need as Game of Thrones, and they had the perfect showrunner for it, one Ryan Condal, then of Colony fame. Andre details, and the scripts he had written were extremely true to the original Robert E. Howard stories. According to everybody that read them, they were amazingly good. If we could just get even a 3-episode animation that would have this quality right here of the Iron Shadows in the Moon, I can't not look at that and think that we've been deprived of quality fantasy animated shows, because I would not only watch that, I would gift that to my friends and family that were interested in that. Okay, so you wouldn't get a house in 3 years. Yeah, it'll take me time too. Don't worry about it. Andre Einhard then explains how it all went wrong. But then the executives who had commissioned Conan in the first place were in the Me Too market, and they replaced it with Jennifer Salke. She came in to clean up Amazon in both of terms of culture and content. It reminds me of Blues Brothers. We like both types of music, country and western. He then specifically claims that Jennifer canned the show due to toxic masculinity and replaced it with the Wheel of Time, where others saw the next Game of Thrones and Ryan Condal's Conan strips. Jennifer Salke saw only toxic masculinity. Big, swarthy, veiny men. No, can't have that. As Ryan Condal was fired, Conan scrapped, and Jennifer picked the Wheel of Time to be Amazon's more adult-oriented Game of Thrones replacement, although she made sure to make it even more female-centric than it already was, just to be sure there'd be absolutely no toxic masculinity. Okay. So, what do you make of this report? Do you think Netflix's version will embrace the toxic masculinity of Conan the Barbarian? Well, we got a couple of links here. Let's check this out. So here's the new Solomon Kane TV series in development. This is also at Binding into Comics, and I'll get the link for this in chat because I want you guys to be able to check this out. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Soy-based Jeremy, and it's just standard for what we've got right now. All right, this new report claims producer Frederick Malmberg and his Cabinet Entertainment are developing a Solomon Kane TV series. Solomon Kane is another Robert E. Howard franchise written by that man himself. This comes from Midnight's Edge founder Andre Einhard, who claims to have spoken with Malmberg, which actually he does. He shares the news to YouTube. And talking to fellow YouTuber Razorfist, you asked me if I pinned Frederick Malmberg down and asked him about Solomon Kane. I don't know about that pin him down bit, but knowing that we had you on, of course, I asked him about Solomon Kane. Brace yourself. A Solomon Kane series is in development, says Andre. He goes on details about what the show's going to look like, and there's going to be no origin. It will begin with the adventures in Africa. And the model that they are going to go for is a Sherlock series with Benedict Cumberbatch with 90-minute episodes. And this is very, very early. It's something that's being developed internally. It's intentional. There's no distribution in place. But that's how the Conan series started before it was. So anyway, they talk about the Solomon Kane, a creation of Robert E. Howard. And it was published in Weird Tales under the title Red Shadows, which is a really good short. In that story, Howard describes him as a guy that was pretty much just fighting, for the people that were weak and that were severely oppressed. And that was his driving force. That was his entire prime reason to live. And so we are getting, it looks like a Solomon Kane series from what I'm reading here. And there was a live action film back in 2009 portrayed by James Purefoy. It only made $22 million worldwide, but it did not see distribution in North America. You can actually watch that movie, I believe, on YouTube. I saw it about 3 months ago, and it wasn't of cost. You could just watch it. It wasn't bad. For $22 million, you saw that they were lacking a budget, but it was at least faithful to the series for the most part. It got the main bullet points down of what it wanted to accomplish. So, Conan series. Back in 2018, Malmberg and Mark Wheeler were attached to Conan series to Amazon, being held by Condal. But now they're working for Netflix, and live-action animated adaptations are based on Howard's Conan. And this is back in September 2020. The pact gives Netflix the exclusive option to acquire rights for the Conan literary library, develop works across TV and film, both live-action and animated. So, looks like, for a while there, Netflix was going to be doing this. He's asking if there's any progress they can share. He's like, we've got a showrunner. We're not going to divulge who the showrunner is, but there's a showrunner now, and things are full steam ahead. You never know anything until the cameras are rolling, but what I can tell, at least everything's going smoothly. Well, that was an interesting article. All right. So this was September 15th of 2021. And the Cabinet Group, company that controlled rights of Conan and Barbarian, as well as Solomon Kane and by others by Funcom, Cabinet Group CEO Frederick Malmberg provided an update of Solomon Kane and Conan and Barbarian series he was previously developing for television. Now, this is a year and 6 days ago that this was being read. This is the big report today was, why did Amazon drop the ball? Why did Amazon foul that up? And that was Jennifer Salke. She was the one that did not want to have Conan the Barbarian anywhere near her payee. She does not want to be associated with Conan. She hates Conan, can't stand toxic masculinity. He represents everything wrong with society today in her mind. But this is from a year ago, and Funcom had got Cabinet Group Frederick Malmberg to give an update on Solomon Kane and Conan Barbarian series he was previously developing for television, and everything's being folded into heroic signatures. Previously, a joint venture by Funcom and Cabinet to license the Cabinet Group's IPs for video games. Okay, more Conan video games. Not a bad thing. I know people that play the Conan, I think it's Exiles. DM James would know that really good. Hey, Baron G Rock, how you doing? All right. So this is a good set of articles that I found just doing some clicking around, and real series is in development about this Conan series. A little bit of information. Funcom hasn't dropped the ball yet for Conan. They're still in a holding pattern, which means that they've got a couple of scripts ready to go. They've got funding, which is being assembled. It's not 100%. For Solomon Kane, they're going to start with everything with him starts in Africa. It's going to be like Sherlock series with Benedict Cumberbatch, which is going to have a 90-minute episode. It's mainly, they're trying to get things started. I don't think you should be getting your hopes up. I really don't. Not in today's market, not in today's environment. As much as I would like to see it, I'd have a better chance of actually having Grimm to say, write a Conan RPG that would be fully playable on a stream on Pornhub. I would have a better chance of seeing that and seeing him get funded to take one of his scripts from his games, from the actual live play, and have that turned into a live action show. And I actually think he can do it. I think he's got a 100 times better chance of doing that. And I'm not saying that because he's in my chat right now. I'm saying that because Grimm would be the guy that would actually probably be able to push it through. He's done some other amazing streams before, and it wouldn't be hard for him to make the jump from being a DM to being a director. I'm just laying that out there. Okay. So Solomon Kane is getting more pressure built up behind it than Conan right now. The Conan series, well, it was being developed and it was going to Netflix. Now it's ran by Cabinet and their new group, their new joint venture between Cabinet and Funcom. So they don't have anything going on right now, because they say this not once, not twice. This is the third time I've seen this in articles. Everything appears to be going smoothly. That's not a good sign. Okay. Cimmerian. Now, Malmberg says, with Conan, I'm happy to say we are in development, which means basically we are working with a writer who has written the first draft of the pilot of a series and then a season overview. This is not a good thing. This is news that is 3 years old right here. Okay. So hopefully, if you want to, you can try to get in touch with Funcom people. Try to send them a nice little note on Instagram or Facebook. Hey, push this Conan series. We'd like to see it. The good thing is that with your IPs that they've worked out, they're developing games that are going to have a lot of the characters from the Robert E. Howard universe. So you're going to see a lot of Conan push more for a PC game. Okay, they're going to do more for that than they will a series. That's my own personal feeling as I'm sitting right here. I'm excited about what we can do with these IPs and get more games, more board games, more TV shows, more cool characters in the zeitgeist and people's mindset. We have some really good material to work with. Yes, you do. Follow the established canonical lore and you won't fail. Respect the fans. And when Marvel had it, they Conan and Wolverine and Thor went out for a bender one day. All right, so that is the information that we have for right now. This is just a short video. I saw this. I'm like, I'm going to talk about this because I grew up watching the John Milius Barbarian movie, and if you haven't noticed the figurines behind me and what I like to do, I really enjoy the gaming aspect. That's just kind of one of the things I'm into. Uh, if you've ever seen like one of my bad live streams or what have you, you get it. You guys get it, and more than likely, you guys are into that too. So I would like to think that maybe, just maybe, we'll have. There is one more article. Thank you, Grim. Grim says, "Great room, Bruce." Okay. And final piece here. CBR, which is a garbage website. I know. Marvel just gave Conan a proper and touching send-off. After they elected not to renew the rights to Conan the Barbarian, Savage Avengers #5 honors Hyborian Age hero with a touching for all. This is by Sean Gribben, published 4 days ago. This contains spoilers for Savage Avengers #5. They bid farewell to Conan the Barbarian with a send-off befitting of the Hyborian Age hero. His time fighting alongside Savage Avengers comes to an end in the 5th issue of the team's latest ongoing series, written by David Proposed and illustrated by Carlos Magno. Conan was primary focus of the title's first arc, being that the group was trying to protect him from a Deathlock soldier out to kill him. In the end, though, it is Conan who manages to save the entire team. In the latest iteration, they include Daredevil, Elektra, Nachos, Agent Anti-Venom, Black Knight, Weapon H, Cloak and Dagger, and while protecting Conan from Deathlock, they're all transported to Conan's home period, Hyborian Age, and trapped there unless Deathlock could bring them all back to present day. After Deathlock secretly aids Spider-Man Miles Morales, regains his humanity, and tries to do just that, the team is experiencing bigger problems. In the prior issue, Necromancer Thulsa Doom sliced Conan's throat and spilled his own blood as well, fulfilling a prophecy and unleashing the serpent god Set. In Savage Avengers #5, though, Dagger heals Conan and brings him back into the fight. The team is struggling to contain Set, while Deathlock is having trouble opening a portal to banish the god and send the Savage Avengers to their own time. The feat of immense strength, Conan helps Deathlock get everyone through the portal and crushes the gate behind them. The pages then treating readers to a montage of Conan's history as he is left behind in the Hyborian Age. The last image is of Conan as a king beside his family, the Avengers logo displayed about his throne room as the narration reads, "No matter what legacy he left behind, Conan would always know this. He was an Avenger and his legend would live forever." That is kind of cool. Not going to say that, well, I'm going to go give Marvel some money real quick because they absolutely hate me. They dropped one of the most money-making titles over time, probably so they could get, some crappy trans frick, whatever the hell, insert pronoun here, replacement for Tony Stark. They're getting rid of this for that. He was an Avenger, and his legend would live forever. Actually, it will live on under another label, under another publisher. So, with that, yeah, I look like Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders and Mr. Clean. Yes. All right. That was actually a fairly decent send-off. I'm kind of happy that Marvel said that and did that. I'm not a big fan of Marvel right now, and I don't think I'll be for quite a few years while they're on the current bender to take the entire label, the entire brand, and push it into the mountainside. There's no more Stan. We don't got to worry about Stan Lee. We're good. Come on, guys. Let's just try to write our own stuff and ignore the established canon. You deserve whatever you get. All right, guys. So here's my advice for you. Find yourself an old set of comics that you really love, be it in your own collection or something that you find on the used market, because I really don't want you to buy things from people that hate you. I want you to buy things from people that love you. I want you to buy things that at least the people don't hate you. They don't have to love you, but they have to at least be appreciative of the fact you want to be a customer and give them your fungible assets in exchange for what product they have. It's just simple. That's all it is. So have yourself a great night. Tonight is Wednesday, the 21st of September, 2022. And my name is Bruce Lombardo. I'm America's Dungeon Master, and I'm signing off.